What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam, this is Vancity Audi, and I am freaking stoked for this video. We're back here at Racing Greed, and in behind me, we have a 2018 Audi S4, a B9 S4. If you guys are subscribers to the channel, you may have already seen my other buddy, Anthony, in his B9 S4. We brought it to Racing Greed, we got dyno numbers. Then we met up on the back roads of Mexico, and we compared doing a quarter-mile run between my integrated engineering tuned B8 S4 and his Unitronic B9 S4. We had a load of fun. It was awesome to see the comparison between the two cars. Today, we are going to be tuning this one with integrated engineering's new tuning. This car is a full bolt-on S4 already. He has the works. I'll go over that in a second. Then we're gonna get on the dyno and we are going to test every power level, well, almost every power level that integrated engineering offers. We're gonna showcase stock numbers first. We're gonna get you guys a baseline. Once we've done that, we're gonna step it up to stage 2, 91 octane, then stage 2, 93 octane, and to wrap this up, we're gonna dump a bunch of E85 in there and get you guys beast mode numbers on this stock turbo, stage 2 E85 from integrated engineering in this B9 S4. Let's take a look at the mods. We're gonna start up front. Underneath the grille, we have an integrated engineering intercooler. Up top in the engine bay, we have a Carbon Labs air intake system, which also doubles as a turbo inlet. This goes all the way to the turbo back there. For the exhaust, he has a Miltech resignated downpipe, which leads into a full Miltech exhaust. Here are the tips back here. I'm sure this thing is gonna sound awesome on the dyno. Now that you guys know what this car consists of, let's see what it makes for power at the stock power level. Before we get this dyno underway, just a couple of points that I wanted to make. Today we are going to be featuring DynoJet corrected dyno numbers, rather than the Mustang dyno numbers that I use on my B8 S4. I did a poll and a lot of people want to see the DynoJet numbers because of the fact that they locally are also using a DynoJet to test their B9 S4s. So I can give kind of an accurate or close to accurate representation of the power this car is making today. And secondly, it is a nice, cool, crisp day here in the Lower Mainland. We're sitting at about 400 DA, and I think right now it's like 16 degrees Celsius. So very, very cool, and I expect this car to make boatloads of torque and hopefully power as well. I promise this is the final thing I'll mention before we get to the dyno. The fuel we are running today is our local ethanol-free Chevron 94, blended with 18% ethanol. That's kind of the sweet spot that I've found on my B8 on this B9 to eliminate all of the ignition correction that you see with our local pump gas, so because it is so horrible. So I just wanted to let you guys know we are gonna get the absolute most out of this tune, as I like to represent the products that are used on my channel as best I possibly can. So we're not putting in a half-assed effort here. We are getting absolutely everything we can, and then when we bump it up to E85, we're gonna get as close to E85 as we possibly can with the mix of fuel that we have in the tank. So I've mentioned this in previous videos, I'm gonna mention it again. These are DynoJet calibrated numbers at the wheels. The air is crazy good here. These numbers will look inflated to you, but what we've seen is as the power increases and the numbers are higher, it is quite comparable with other DynoJets in the United States. So I'm gonna go over these numbers now, what we saw stock. Starting this day off on the right foot with 357 wheel horsepower, 421 foot-pounds of torque, making boatloads of power. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with B9s, but from the factory they have this extremely weird dip in torque. I've been told it's because of emissions. I am not sure myself, but we are definitely seeing that with the massive dip at about 2,800 RPM before it ramps back up for the peak torque that we see at 3,200. So for our baseline to start this day off, we're starting with 357 wheel and 421 foot-pounds of torque. Stage 2, 91 octane. Check out that torque. There's no longer the dip, so congratulations to IE for working that out. And look at those freaking gains. 457 up to 404, that is almost 50 wheel horsepower, and 421 up to 512, that is roughly 90 foot-pounds of torque from a tune. That is unfrigging believable. I cannot wait to see what this thing makes on E85. Next round, stage 2, 93. Here are the results of the Stage 2 93 octane tune. We squeaked out a tiny bit more. We got 7 more wheel horsepower and another 23 foot-pounds of torque. These things are torque monsters. As you guys can see, it peaked up slightly higher when you hit max torque at about the 3,200 RPM range. Power-wise for your horsepower is very, very similar the way the car runs, just slightly higher throughout. But that finishes off our pump gas files using this integrated engineering software. Time to stop pussyfooting around with the 91 and the 93. We're going full ethanol, E60 to E85. It gives you the warning, make sure that this blend is accurate. Do not increase the ethanol content too high. Things will go wrong. Make sure you got your downpipe installed, your air intake, your intercooler, all that stuff that you need for a stage 2 file in order to run this tune. Let's see how much power this monster can make using E85. So what we've done so far is we tossed E100 in the tank. We've brought that ethanol content up to a 76%. So we're at an E76 to E78 by our calculations. We've let the car idle and then we've gently rolled into it a few times. We want to make sure that that ethanol has completely cycled through the fuel system. Now we think it's ready. Time to fire this off and see how much power we can make on this stock turbo stage 2 full bolt-on using E85 using the tune from Integrated Engineering. Here's your final run of the day, stage 2 full bolt-on E85 from Integrated Engineering, maxed out at 441 wheel horsepower and 539 foot-pounds of torque. So we made another 30 wheel horsepower from switching from 93 to E85, but we only managed another 4 foot-pounds of torque. There are the graphs. You can see all of your power being made up top from that E85. Right at about 4,800 to red line, you are making significantly more power than you were. You're also making more torque up top, as you can see, but the max torque down low at 3,200 is almost identical between the 93 octane and the E85 file. That is pretty damn incredible for this 3-liter turbocharged V6. 84 wheel horsepower, 118 foot-pounds of torque from today's beginning to today's end. That is simply unbelievable. Stage 2 full bolt-on with E85 from Integrated Engineering. You can see the massive differences in torque all the way from when you're first stepping on it at 2,400 RPM all the way to red line, all the way up to 6,400. Truly, truly incredible gains with this Integrated Engineering tune. Holy crap, I did not expect to see that much of a torque gain. Wow, very, Very cool car, very neat tune. I'm excited to see if Terry gets out on the track. Terry is the gentleman who owns this vehicle, and hopefully we can maybe line up sometime. I got that B8 S4 that's now running 10s. I wonder what this runs. Track's closing soon though, so we might have to meet up on the back roads of Mexico. I'll talk to him, I'll see if I can convince him, because I think that would be a pretty cool matchup. My B8 S4, full bolt-on, making some pretty decent power in that, versus his torque monster B9 S4. If you guys want to see that comparison, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can put something together for you. And until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care.